What's going on, everyone? I want to talk about this report from The Athletic about Russell Westbrook because I think it's pretty important for the upcoming season. So let's dive right into it. Westbrook and Ham have gotten off to a much better start than Westbrook and former head coach Frank Vogel did last season. During scrimmages, Westbrook has been doing many of the little things that the Lakers have asked of him. He's been an active on-ball screener. He's relentlessly pushing the pace in Ham's up-tempo system, looking for his teammates first and his own shot second. He's been engaged defensively, hounding ball handlers while adjusting to Ham's new pick-and-roll coverage. They also added Westbrook slightly refined his shooting form this summer, and sources say his catch-and-shoot three-point percentage has been improved in workouts and scrimmages. Now, I think this is very important because this is all the stuff we need from Russell Westbrook. And big credits to him, though it was the first game of preseason, so I want to see it translate throughout preseason as well as into the regular season. I hope that he continues to display that the entire season and doesn't kind of get into old habits. Now, I do think that there will be times throughout the season where, Darvin Ham just lets Russ just be Russ. Like, hey, man, it's just you out there with all these run and gun guys. Go take over the game. Play your game of basketball. But in the system of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and then whoever the other two starters are, whether it's Nunn and Jones, or, say they switch it up and it's, Beverly and Bryant or whatever. I think that those two pieces are definitely interchangeable. I want to see Russ contribute to the offense. And we saw that in the first preseason game. I was very impressed with Russell Westbrook. I really liked what I saw. Now, we didn't get to see him take a ton of shots, which is fine. But the things we did see was we saw him in that pick and roll action, and he was great. I mean, he was dropping some great passes, protected the ball. He was slowing it down when it needed to be slowed down. He was running within the offense. We saw him cutting a couple times. He was ready to go. Now, again, we didn't really get to see him shoot the ball, but he did make his free throw. The free throw that he did take, he actually did make, which is just night and day better than last season, right? Because that was the big problem with him last year. And which is really surprising because Russ at one point was like an 82% free throw shooter. So hopefully he can get back into that. I do like that he's kind of changed his shooting a little bit. He did have a three-point contest. It was with just Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And nonetheless, Russell Westbrook still won that three-point contest. And we saw Davis knock down a couple threes. Davis looked like he was in true form. Russ and Davis looked great in that first preseason game. And I'm really excited for what Russ has been able to do. Now, again, I've always said, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I have been a very big Russ defender on this channel because everything he's shown the willingness to adjust and sacrifice. Even last season, as much people like to pretend like he did sacrifice a lot. And we're seeing more of that this season. Him and Vogel didn't have a good relationship. Nobody really seemed to listen to Vogel. Vogel didn't do anybody any favors last year, especially Russ. And that's what I've talked about. And you've seen Darvin Ham's impact on this team. Again, very small sample size, right? You only got 16 minutes of that sample size. But nonetheless, in that 16 minutes, there was a lot of positives and gems, especially with LeBron James playing as poorly as he did. We still looked really good. And the fact that we looked really good without LeBron James, with LeBron James essentially looking like he shouldn't even have been out there, that's a great sign, because usually when that happens, we are getting just destroyed and demolished. Now, again, with LeBron, it's preseason. I'm not worried about him in preseason. He's been terrible in preseason for the last 10 plus years. And he's even said himself, he doesn't really care about preseason. It's not something that he's like trying to prove anything on. None of these guys are really going 100%. I've seen some people say that they wish that they saw some of the run and gun stuff, that up-tempo offense stuff, but that's not what this is about. That's not what preseason is. Preseason is about trying to run your sets, trying to get familiar, trying to get custom in real game situations, in real game moments, right? There's going to be good moments. There's going to be bad moments. There's going to be moments in between. But what are the positives that you can build on and build that foundation? And what are the negatives that you need to improve and grow in? That's what preseason is about. It's about seeing what you need to do to better yourself for the actual season. None of these games matter. And there's a reason that a lot of these games are blowouts by usually the team that is the worst team, because usually they have guys that are 30 deep that are all trying to make the roster, so they're going 100%. Like the Lakers in the second half, they played their rookies pretty much the entire second half. And we got blown out, as we should, because they're all in like, our roster rotations are set, right? The Kings, they have 20 guys and 10 of them are still fighting for a rotation and a actual roster spot. So they're going all out. They're doing everything they can. And it's one of the reasons Sacramento went undefeated in preseason last season, because of stuff like that. The younger teams usually tend to do better. But Russ, I want to see Russ continue this trend. We've seen positives all offseason, right? He was showing up to all the pressers, right? He was attached to Darvin Ham at the hip. He was doing all of those things and saying how he was willing to work, how he's willing to change. All the reports at a training camp and even the scrimmage. We saw Russ in the scrimmage, in those videos of him setting hard picks, doing pin downs, cutting to the basket, running the pick and roll, all of that stuff. Had some really nice passes, letting the game of basketball come to him instead of him just going and playing in the game of basketball. And we need that from Russ. We need Russ to buy in. We need Russ to be that third of our big three. And there will be plenty of time for Russell Westbrook to just be Russell Westbrook. I believe every game Russ is going to have probably 5 to 10 minutes where he gets to just be Russ, where Darvin Ham just basically takes the collar off and says, hey, go run, go be free. This whole playground is yours today. And he's just going to go off, right? And I think he's going to have that. But again, when he's running with LeBron and Davis, he's got to work within the scheme. So he has to understand and know how to turn it on and turn it off. And that is been one of the biggest issues for him. He's a guy that's always gone 100%. Boom, 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 boom. I get the ball, I go. I get the ball, I go. Like, that's just Russ. But he needs to learn to play within a system and take a step back from time to time. He's going to have time where he could just take the ball and go. Even Darvin Ham has said that himself. Even with Russ or even with LeBron and Anthony Davis, Darvin Ham has said, like, if Russ gets the rebound, he is told to just go. And I need to see him be able to finish. I need to see him be able to, actually do what he did in yesterday's preseason game, and continue this throughout the preseason game. We play the Suns tomorrow, or depending on when you watch this video, maybe today. But I need to see more of that. I need to see him playing defense. He's not going to be a lockdown defender. He's not going to be a perfect defender. I mean, even yesterday, he had some flaws, right? He was buying into the pump fakes a little too much, stuff like that. Kind of gambles a little bit. We saw from the scrimmages, although he didn't really gamble yesterday, which I like to see. So maybe it was just, he's having fun in scrimmage. But nonetheless, him just even trying to play defense and putting the work in is important. Because we don't necessarily need him to be locked down, just, defensive player of the year, Russell Westbrook. We just need him to use his athleticism, use his speed, use his agility, and just quickness to be able to stay in front of his defender, make things tough, funnel the offense into the bigs, stuff like that, play within the team scope of defense. Can he just do that and be a serviceable defender, which will be great. If he can, then he's going to be good defensively. He's always had a nose for the ball. He's always been pretty solid in moments. We've seen him play great defense before, and he usually is up there in steals because he's got such a good nose for just defense and the ball and just passing lanes and stuff like that. And he's so quick, he can get there and he's gone, right? We see it all the time. I mean, even last year, how many times did we see him just, jump the passing lane, get the ball, and he was off in a layup? Like, it's going to happen a lot this year, but he needs to control that. And he needs to not gamble so much. That's the big concern too, is because he knows he's so quick, he thinks he can get to that point regularly. And when he can, it's great. When he can, he's off to the races and nobody's catching him, right? That's a layup. But, the times that he doesn't, he needs to, even if he does gamble, he needs to get back immediately, because that was the problem. He would gamble, and if he didn't get it, he would just kind of stand there and let the guy go by. He needs to, I gambled, I lost, let me get back. or the help defense comes, let me go pick up that guy. Because that would be the thing. Like, right, the guy would get past Russ, help defense would come and collapse, and then they'd kick it out, and Russ is just standing there, so that guy gets a wide open bucket. So he needs to know, okay, I gambled, my defense is going to come help me. Let me get to the outside to get to that other defender so I can, prevent a wide open three, things like that. So I do think Russ can do that. I think he has the potential. He has the ability to be just great in the system from what we saw yesterday. He was running the pick and roll. He was doing everything we needed him to do. And I'm really excited for that. Now, the proven shot, we're going to need to actually see a sample size. Who knows? I don't expect him to all of a sudden become Klay Thompson or something like that. But can he be even serviceable, right? Because he was what? He was like 28, 29% last season. Can he get to like 32, 33%? Because then that's at least respectable. Because league average is only like 34, 35%. So if he could get to like 32, 33%, then he's, just under league average, which means teams actually have to defend him, which means teams actually have to contest his shot because he's knocking down the three ball at an efficient enough rate. Especially that one corner where he shoots like 55% from. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that throughout a course of a season if he shoots enough of a sample size, but hopefully he can operate in that mid-range and knock down a couple threes. We don't need him to be a lights-out three-point shooter. We just need him to be respectable enough to where defenses have to be honest, because then he becomes a real mismatch, with just his speed and athleticism, because if defenders now have to overcommit because he can actually shoot the ball at a respectable rate, so you can't leave him wide open, and as they go to overcommit, boom, he's gone. And now the defense has to collapse. You can, now you got the drive and kick, or you got, the attack to the basket. And I loved seeing the pick and roll with Russ because that was so effective last season. This is something, and I have the receipts here on this channel. You can go back and look. If you look at what I talked about, Russ running the pick and roll, they ran it like 9 times with LeBron and Davis, and they scored 8 of 9 times, and then just didn't use it again for like 3 or 4 months. Like, it was insane to me. And when they did use it, they scored immediately. They ran it 2 straight plays and scored on both of those possessions. And even the announcer and commentator was like, why haven't they used this entire season? This has been an effective play for them every time they've ran it. And we saw it last night, or, the day before. Like, we saw against the Kings, him running it and operating it, and they scored every time he did it. So he's really good at the pick and roll. He's great at the screens and being a roll guy. And if he can knock down the outside shot now at a respectable rate, then now he can be a pick and pop guy too. So it opens so many possibilities. But again, I don't want to get too excited. Again, it's preseason. I don't want to get too excited for the highs. I don't want to get too low for the lows. We need to be even keel for these preseason games. There's going to be good moments, there's going to be bad moments, but like I said earlier, what are the good things that you can build your foundation on, and what are the bad things that you need to work on going forward? And Russ, I really liked what I saw. That was a good foundation to continue going forward. And if that's the Russ we see this year, I think the Lakers are going to be really good, and I think they're going to be really scary because now you have Russ being very effective on this team. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What did you think of Russ and his performance? What do you think of this news? Are you excited for it? You happy for it? Do you like it? Again, all we've heard is this kind of stuff out of training camp, and the first game we saw him play, he proved that those reports were right. So, again, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm willing to trust that he's going to do what is necessary for the betterment of this team. But, again, let me know down in the comment section. Quick little shameless plug, everyone. If you enjoy my videos and commentary here on this channel, As It Stands Lakers, then check out the link down in the description below and go subscribe to As It Stands. Believe it or not, As It Stands was the first channel. If it wasn't for that channel, this channel would never have existed. Because of the success of that channel, it led me to want to create this Lakers channel. So do me a huge solid. If you're not subscribed over there, go check that out. go subscribe over there. I talk all things sports, all teams, things like that, not just the Lakers. So if you just enjoy my commentary and want to hear me talk about other things, or you just, are a fan of other sports and other teams, go check that out. I promise you will not be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.